Hiya, Sophie here. So today I am going to show you how to make your very own DIY chai tea. It makes a wonderful gift. It's a beautiful, warming, healthy tea for the winter. You are going to love it. So I've loved chai tea for years and years. I'm a great tea drinker, for those of you who don't know me. I just love tea because I like the taste of it. I'm a Brit, so I was raised with tea. In England, tea, kind of the lowest quality tea, is the panacea of all, of everything. It's the cure-all. You know, you've got a broken leg, put the kettle on, make a cup of tea. You know, you're dying of something awful, never mind, you'll be all right, love, get her a cup of tea. So that's how it goes in England. But over the years, I've become a bit of a tea snob, and I like really good quality tea, and usually that is loose tea. Now, I've got other videos on all the other different teas that I love, the matcha, the green tea, the oolong tea, but today I really wanted to focus on chai tea. And this video actually was prompted by one of you, one of my viewers, who said to me, Sophie, will you just show us how to make a good chai tea? And I think it's because on my live streams you often see me drinking tea, and this particular lady saw me drinking it and she thought, wait a minute, why doesn't she show us how to make it? It is expensive in the store. It's much cheaper to make it yourself, and it's more delicious because you can make a really potent chai tea, and like anything DIY, you can actually control every single one of the ingredients that go in there and customize it according to your preferences. I've also added something very, very special into this chai tea that isn't in any single chai tea, either DIY or store-bought, that I have ever found. And it's something that really takes your chai tea up to a new healthy level. So let's get started. Okay, so the first ingredient that you need is tea, and you need a really good quality black tea. I'll put the link for this one in the description for the video because I love this tea. It's Organic Positively Tea Company, and all their teas I really like. But this is an Assam. You could use an English breakfast, but I really like the Assam tea for this particular recipe. So in a bowl, I have put about 2 cups of Assam tea. Now to that, I am going to add half a cup of clove buds. So they're pretty strong, so they're going in there. And all the spices in this chai tea are so warming and healthy for you. Half a cup of cardamom seeds, which give chai tea that flavor that you expect with a chai tea. This is going to be so good, this tea. Then I have about 1/4 cup of black peppercorns. Get those out of the way. Now, the next thing I'm going to put in, and obviously recipe is in the description to this video, but I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of Ceylon cinnamon. So that's going in like that. Now, you could use real cinnamon sticks, but the only reason I'm not using them is that you have to find a way of sort of breaking them up and pulverizing them. You don't want really a whole stick in this if you're going to keep it. So you'll find, and also they're hard to get and more expensive, so I'm just using ground. Same goes with ginger, by the way. So I've got 2 tablespoons of ground ginger. You could use fresh ginger, but you can only use fresh ginger if you're going to make your tea right away because it has moisture in it and you don't want your tea to go moldy. Alternatively, if you want to use fresh ginger, you could dehydrate it, but that's another step. So to keep things simple here, I am just going to be using the ground ginger. Now, we're going to mix that up, and then I am going to show you this secret ingredient, which I think takes this to a whole new level, not only health-wise, but also taste-wise as well. So I'm going to add right here it's actually, sorry, 3/4 of a cup, 3/4 of a cup of dandelion root. This is roasted dandelion root. I will put a link for where you can buy it in bulk, really inexpensive. I actually found it in bulk at my local health food store, but not all health food stores have it. So I just want to make sure that you can easily get that. So that goes in there. And that basically is what my chai tea is. See how easy that is to make? And when you buy them at the store, that's for something like this quality, it's so incredibly expensive. All right, so now the next step is how to prepare it and how to store it. Okay, so I realized that one thing I forgot to mention was that the dandelion root, oh, the kettle's just boiling, is really, really great for liver cleansing and detoxification. And that is the primary reason why I put it in there as an added health benefit. And it also has a really nutty flavor, so it works really well in a chai tea. Okay, so as you can see, the kettle's just boiled. Now, there are two different ways that I prepare almost all my teas, but definitely in the case of chai. Either a teapot. I'm going to put a link to this particular teapot under the video because it is such a great teapot. So I'm going to put about 3 teaspoons. I'm going to be quite generous with this, and make sure that you mix it around so you really get all the little bits and the powder and everything like that. So about 3 teaspoons in there. Now, the other thing that I sometimes do is I make tea bags. Again, I'll put a link for these little tea bags. You can get them in different sizes. I think this is the large size, which you're actually better off having for most tea. And I've put in this about 3 teaspoons. You literally just pop the tea in. You can do this with any tea, great for travel. And then you just tie it off like so. And then you must tie it off because you don't want tea bits floating around, and that's it. And then what you would do with that is that you pop it in a mug, and then you're going to steep it with water that is just boiled. So we do want to use water that has just come off the boil. You want the hottest water possible for this particular recipe. Actually for all chai tea. I'm not going to do that one because I don't want to waste that tea bag. So we'll put that to one side. So this I'm going to let steep for about 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes. Okay, so that has fully brewed now, and you can see it's a lovely dark color. So now, because we've got quite a few bits and pieces in this, when you strain it, you will have to mix it a little bit because of the sediment on the bottom. Okay, so I've just strained that from the little teapot, and just be aware that when you strain, there's a lot of large pieces in there, so it does take quite a lot longer to strain, but you won't have that issue with a tea bag, which is why I actually really do like to use one of those tea bags for this. Now I'm going to add, you could add any plant milk. I'm just going to add some organic soy milk right here. Oh my gosh, that looks so delicious. And then I recommend adding a sweetener. So if you are diabetic, you might want to add a monk fruit or a stevia, or you might want to try, if you're not diabetic, something like a coconut sugar or a coconut nectar. I actually love this. I'll put a link for this. It's jaggery. It's very unprocessed form of sugarcane, and it has a really nutty flavor. So it works beautifully in chai. And finally, I wanted to show you that if you wanted to give some tea as gifts, why not just pop it in a bag I haven't put very much in this bag because I'm hanging on to mine. But it makes a really good gift. It doesn't obviously have to be a holiday. It can be any time of year, but a nice chai tea. And you could even, you know, pop a little a label around it with the instructions of, you know, how to steep it, how long to steep it, boiling water, and everything. That would just be a nice little touch. And storing your tea. So how you store your tea is important. The best thing is to actually get a proper tea tin. That's just a tin and it has an airtight lid. This is an old tea tin from Tivana. I have so many of them rattling around in my cabinets that I just reuse them over and over. And so you're just going to pop your tea in there and it'll keep nicely in a cool, dark cupboard, and because it's completely airtight now, for 6 months. That's generally how long I feel safe to keep my tea, and that the spices and whatnot will stay fresh. So that's it. I am so enjoying this tea. It's comforting, warming, soothing, health-giving. Now I just need a really big cookie to go with it. That's what I'm going to start next. My next project is I'm going to make one of my delicious sunflower apricot almond cookies, and I will put the link in the description to the video for that particular recipe. And I was just thinking, as I was looking at this little bag, that not only could you have a little instruction, a little label with instructions, but you could also put a little cinnamon stick through the ribbon, which I would have done, but I happen not to have any cinnamon sticks. So I hope you enjoyed this DIY. Loads more to look at in the archives, loads more to come, and I always appreciate your comments and particularly your suggestions, because as you can see, your wish is my command. That chai tea was a wish from one of you, so I will do my best to accommodate. I will see you next time. Hi, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, there are hundreds more. And please also visit my blog at sophieuliano.com for detailed reviews, recipes, DIYs, and more.